There's quite a lot of hands up, so if you could stick to a couple of each, that would be really helpful. We'll start with Jack Gordon at the Mail.
Hiya, Ashley. It's just picking up on what Moose was talking about before about your own kind of journey. Why management? Why coaching? Because the way the game is now, ex-players they don't necessarily need to go into coaching, and you could have done whatever you wanted. I guess ex-players you don't really need the stress that goes with it, I suppose.
Yeah, 2 kids also. Yeah, you're right. But no, I felt, after I went to LA Galaxy and, got a kind of a deeper and bigger role in terms of, being captain. So, trying to be that leader in the dressing room, but then also being able to take sessions and sitting on unit meetings and kind of seeing the impact I had on some of the young players there. I felt, I had to give something back. And again, coming back to Chelsea was my opportunity to do that. So I think when I was playing, I didn't really think about what I was going to do next or my next chapter. Everyone speaks about having that year off to rest and relax and sit on the beach. And probably after 2 weeks, I actually really got bored and missed being on the grass, missed being, in and around environments where, it's fun and enjoyable, but also a learning environment. So I felt it was really important for me to get back as soon as possible, get on the grass and try to give back. 15, 16, 17 years I've been playing kind of top level football, and I think it's my duty to give back to the younger generation.
What sort of things were you doing at LA Galaxy that made you think this is what I want to do?
Just setting up sessions, like I mentioned, whether it was, the 1v1 defending, setting up the unit work, how we want to defend in, mid block, low block, in our high press. Again, the manager there gave me a lot of license from coming from of course, playing over in England. He wanted to kind of see my ideas and my philosophy. I was looking to retire and be a coach there, but again, had the opportunity to go back to England. So it was really important, I felt, for me to come back and make sure I wanted to learn my trade back at Chelsea. LA gave me a lot in terms of that, but in terms of the structure and opportunity, I felt it was best to come back to Chelsea. I had a new baby as well, so I thought, right, let's really, really take this serious and get my teeth into it. And a lot of old Chelsea players were at Chelsea at the time, and it was a great opportunity for me to go there and be, day in, day out around them people that's been in the game a long time. But, sat down and worked with Andy Myers, who was a big help, John Harley. Of course, I sat with Chelsea legends and really kind of, as I mentioned, get to grips with, what it takes to be a top coach or a manager. And I felt it was just best to come back now and work at Chelsea. And then again, gave me that real edge and push to go on and try to better myself. And of course, this is why I took this opportunity again to go up a level and work with elite players.
Brilliant. Cheers.
Cheers, Jack. We'll go to Tom Barkley at the Sun.
Hey Ash, just following up on that, being a top coach, a big part of that is man management. I'm wondering having been a top player yourself, you obviously, but being a player, you focus on yourself, and now you're having to look after all these individuals who have their own personalities. I'm wondering, what's the modern player like? How has it changed? How have they changed? Because, for example, we've seen a few players not to come to be involved in the under-21 setup, whereas yourself, looking back in your career, I can't imagine there would have been a moment which you would have missed any international action. Just what's it like now, dealing with the sort of modern day player?
It's a difficult one because everyone says, it has changed. I think it's, for me, I want to know the person before the player. I really think, that's very important, that you get to understand the individual, what makes him tick, what makes him the best he can be. I think is very important. And as you mentioned, maybe in my day, it was more about, what you did on a pitch and the kind of mental health situation or side of a person or a player was probably disregarded a bit. But now I think it's vitally important that, there's so much support around, the kind of mental health, but also understanding the person. For me, is a must. And I think this is why I got this job and why I love it so much. I really engage with the players and as I mentioned, know what makes them tick, on a daily basis, and trying to get that out of them where they feel safe in an environment where they can produce, magic moments, or really feel they can produce their, top quality at high levels. Always about the player, not the, the person. I tried to find out, again, going back to my situation, I was probably, left in the lurch at times and didn't feel comfortable, speaking about my personal issues. But I feel these players, are really open and engaging with that. So I think it's a good thing that maybe the players have come out of their shell and willing to talk and listen, because I feel, we're producing better players from that now.
For sure. I presume you've been doing lots of badges in the last couple of years, which, if that is the case, then it would have been during the pandemic, during lockdown. I was just wondering, have you got, what's it been like having to be able, I know you've been coaching at Chelsea and with the 21s now, but what's it been like doing that, a lot of it over Zoom and all that kind of thing? And who have you been working with? Because I know a lot of you guys do do badges alongside other ex-players trying to go down the same route.
Yeah, it was difficult, but at the time there was no option. We had lockdown, so the assessors, of course, wasn't allowed to come into our club and watch us coach on the grass. So it was more the kind of a tactical side of football, but on Zoom, which at times was very boring. But again, it's something you have to do until they could come out and assess us on the grass. So, I really felt it was important that, as I mentioned before, I took it serious, tried to be very diligent in the work I did, whether it was the tactical or the social side of the work we did online. You get to meet, new people, whereas I think if the assessors could just come out to your club, I wouldn't have had that opportunity to be on Zoom and meet different players, ex-players, different characters. Again, a lot of old managers have come on and done webinars, which again tried to take a lot of knowledge from that. So it had its benefits, but again, sitting at a screen for 2.5 to 3.5 hours at times was very tough. But again, if you want to be the best, this is what you have to go through. So again, now pandemic is over, as much as we can get out. They can come out to our clubs and watch us on the grass and watch us do, certainly in my situation, do what I love. That's being on the grass with the players.
Just as a quick follow-up, you mentioned some of the ex-managers coming on to do webinars. Was anyone in particular stand out, and what did you learn?
Yeah, I think Gareth, we had the opportunity to have Gareth Southgate on there, and he shared 2 hours of his time to give us challenges he has to face within being an England manager, which was great. He gave us a great tactical insight in how he builds up to games. I can't give you too much detail on that. I don't think he'd be happy with that. But no, it was a great opportunity for, I think there was me, Colton Cole, Dawson was on there. So no, it was a brilliant opportunity for us to get 2 hours and pick his brains on, football. So again, it's something that we loved, and we've took that into our coaching sessions also.
Thanks, Ash.
Cheers. Thank you.
Thanks, Tom. Phil Medlicott at PA.
I believe we're going to be speaking to Luke Thomas on this call after yourself. I just wondered what your thoughts were on where he's at the moment, his kind of development, given you're sort of an expert in his left back position, obviously.
Yeah, I think we're fortunate to have a lot of quality left backs here. I think T Lamptey could come in and play there. Max Aaron's maybe could switch to that side. So yeah, we're blessed in terms of forward positions. He's a player that likes to get forward, very tenacious in 1v1s, takes up some great positions where he can come inside and play as a pivot and come into that midfield area, which again, that's the style of play we want to play here. And I feel he enjoys it here. He loves coming here and learning and always willing to listen to a little bit of detail or advice around it. And again, alongside the other players, I think he's progressing very well. And hopefully, he just goes back to Leicester and gets a little bit more game time.
That's great. Cheers.
Thanks, Phil. Next, we'll go to Simon Bird at the Mirror.
Hi, Ashley. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, good. You've worked for some fantastic coaches in your career. If you could take bits from each of the great coaches you've worked with, what would they be? Like Wenger, Mourinho, etc. What have they taught you?
Ooh, that's a great question. Yeah, I would love to take, you know, I spoke about the kind of the player, you know, getting to know the player and the person, which I think Carlo Ancelotti was, you know, key at man managing, you know, really understanding the person, trying to get the best out of the person, and, you know, whether that's coming to training with a smile on your face. He kind of set up sessions where the minute you got in the training ground, you wanted to get out and be on that pitch. He made you feel very safe, and he was very approachable, and that really brought out for me the best in me. And in terms of, you know, the tactical aspect, I think Jose Mourinho, in terms of the detail and due diligence he would, you know, do with going up against, you know, bigger opponents. He writes, you know, the height, their weight, the strong foot, the weak foot, where we want to show them, you know, amazing game plans. And then I would take, obviously, Arsene Wenger, in terms of, at times he let the game be the teacher. So again, in my perspective and my role, you know, I was a young, raw 19-year-old, but he let me play. You know, I made a lot of mistakes in my early career, and he never took me out of the team. He trusted, you know, the process, that I was going to be a top player. And again, I felt I learned a lot from my mistakes within the games. And again, so if I could take all them three together and squash them into one, hopefully I can, that will be me. Be very difficult and tough, but
you'll be doing all right
there.
Not too bad. And the other issue I want to raise with you, there's so many top black players at the top of the game, excelling, playing wise. There's so few black managers making that mark. Is that part of the reason why you want to get into management, or is it just because you need the occupation? You would be one of the rarer, you know, people coming through.
Yeah, I've you know, saw a lot of players mention it and feel, you know, there's not a pathway for them. Again, you know, is there a wrong or a right? I feel I just need to make sure I'm ready for whatever job, you know, whatever league, you know, whatever opportunity comes up. I just got to make sure I'm ready and able to deliver, and kind of, you know, lead that pathway, whether that is, you know, again, I'm here at the 21s, a great opportunity for me, and hopefully, you know, down the line there will be another opportunity for me to coach at a first team level, or of course manage at a higher level. So yeah, I do agree at times where, is there enough opportunity for black coaches or black managers? You know, it's always going to be questioned, but again, we just got to make sure, you know, we're ready to deliver, because ultimately we're going to be, you know, questioned on what we do. But I think, you know, for me, it's just making sure I can do whatever I can to try be the best. And again, I've got a long way to go. I've still got a lot of learning to do. So, you know, I've just got to make sure, you know, what I do is right. The timing has to be right. And I feel I'm ready enough to, you know, grasp that opportunity.
That's brilliant. Thank you for your help. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good luck.
Thanks, Simon. Apologies all, we've only got time for one more as Luke is waiting to come in. So we'll take the last questions from James Robson at the Standard. Thank you.
Hi, Ashley.
Hi, James.
Hi. Going into management, it's an incredibly ruthless business. You've obviously performed at the highest level as a player, so maybe those sort of risks don't worry you. But when you've seen someone like a teammate of yours, like Frank Lampard, what he went through in the past year, does it not put you off, you know, that sort of thing?
No, I've lived and breathed football from probably the age of 7, and I don't think, you know, going into coaching or management, it should scare anyone. I think, you know, if you feel you're good enough and prepared enough, and the opportunities are right, you know, I never feel there's a right time to manage a top club or you know, a kind of a lower league club. as long as you're getting the opportunities, you know, and you have belief and faith in the qualities you can bring, I think you have to go for it. There will be, you know, doubts within a lot of people's minds, and you know, young coaches getting into the game now because it is ruthless, as you mentioned. But you know, you've got to have faith and belief in, you know, what you're kind of preaching and the philosophy and style you want to portray as a group and as a club. And I feel, yeah, I don't feel scared to go into that. I think I'm, you know, raring to go and you know, waiting for my opportunity. But as I mentioned, just making sure I'm ready to go into it. And there's always that, you know, that saying, what will be, but just making sure I'm ready to go in prepared.
And you've mentioned in the live section about what a great pathway the under-21s is for the first team, the England senior team. Someone you obviously will know well is Callum Hudson-Odoi. I wonder, have you talked to him about him deciding not to join the under-21s for the past couple of sessions? You know, would you encourage him to get in that quickly, given that we've seen the steps that Connor and Emil have made, and there's still time ahead of the World Cup for Callum? Yeah,
listen, him not, you know, coming here is, you know, is a big loss for us because he's, you know, a top quality player. And of course he would add a lot of quality to this group, but, you know, he's felt maybe he wanted to stay behind and get his fitness up and try get into the Chelsea team first. You know, we have to be understanding, you know, within that. But yeah, you know, the door's of course always open for young, you know, quality players. And I feel, you know, maybe him seeing Emil or Connor getting the opportunity, you know, hopefully, you know, he will change his mind and come and join us, because the pathway's there. And, you know, Gareth has given players a lot of opportunities now, so hopefully he can get his opportunity. But as a group, we for sure would miss top quality players, because he will add to our squad, of course.
That's brilliant. Thanks a lot, Ash.
Thanks.
Cheers, James. We'll bring that to a close there. So you guys are going to a holding room, and then we'll shortly resume with Luke Thomas.